Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Church of Chonkwij weekly podcast. I am your host, DrNiggle. I am joined by OmegaConstruct, Masami, and Zero Burn. And this week, I think that we are going to be starting off talking about Sean Connery, who passed away this week at the age of 90.
Such a shame. Such a shame.
Such a shame.
Would anyone like to try and say snorkel in Sean Connery's accent?
Snorkel.
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 Oh yeah, he had a fun accent.
Nice goat.
So, Sean Connery had a long and distinguished film career. I don't have his IMDb page up, so I'm just going to try to spout off some stuff from memory. Hopefully everyone has seen Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That's great. Absolutely.
It's Sean Connery. It's James Bond, Indiana Jones, The Rock, and Hunt for Red October.
Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery in The Rock. Welcome to The Rock.
Now, there is honorable mention for Highlander. He was fun in that.
Also, The Untouchables with what's his face there? Kevin. No one remembers his name.
I don't know. Really, though, I mean, he is and forever will be the best James Bond to me. That is what I will forever remember him the most fondly as.
I never got into James Bond, or Sean Connery's James Bond.
Who's your favorite?
By the time Pierce Brosnan rolled around... No, actually, it's Daniel Craig, because I just started watching James Bond when Daniel Craig was in them, because, what's his face, Pierce Brosnan... It was just ridiculous. Those movies were just fucking, like, Batman levels of cheese.
Oh, but see, I loved them.
Honestly, I grew up watching Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones movies, and the original 007 movies. And that was thanks to my uncle, who was a huge Harrison Ford and Sean Connery fan. So I got exposed to Sean Connery's acting at a very young age, so I have a massive amount of respect for his body of work.
We named the dog Indiana.
Yeah, I grew up on Indiana Jones and or not grew up on, but my earliest exposure would be Indiana Jones and Highlander. I love it when men produce swords from absolutely nowhere.
Remember, which one was it? I think it was Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Kevin Costner, that's the name I was trying to remember earlier. Yeah, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, he just shows up at the very end of the movie, and we're like, oh, it's Sean Connery! And then the really cheesy music plays.
But that's all you need in a movie to make your movie. That's all the Sean Connery you need in a movie to make your movie great. It's just
suddenly
the last 5 minutes.
Donald Connery. And he's what else? What else has the dude been in? He's been in a shit ton of stuff. Yeah, okay. Omega already said Hunt for Red October, which is one of my favorite movies of all time.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
Where everyone in the Russian submarine has a Russian accent except for Sean Connery.
I mean, it wouldn't be Sean Connery if it didn't have Sean Connery's accent.
That's probably how he swung it. Is he walked in, if he even had to audition, he must have had to audition. He walked in, they're just like, all right, let us hear your Russian accent. I don't do Russian accents.
No,
all right, that sounds great, Sean. Thanks for coming.
This is one of my favorite stand-up bits of all time. Craig Ferguson talking about exactly this. He's like, Sean Connery is not an actor. He's a movie star. He is the same character in every movie.
I remember this.
He's a Russian sub-commander. That's right. I'm a Russian sub-commander. You know it and I know it. I'm Sean Connery. You're just lucky I'm in this piece of shit.
And who could forget the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Oh god, the movie that he did because he passed on Lord of the Rings and he passed on Harry Potter, and he was like, well, I didn't understand Lord of the Rings, so I said no. I didn't understand Harry Potter, so I said no, and I didn't understand the League when it came around, but I said no to these two huge franchises earlier. I didn't want to make the same mistake again. And and then, one movie later, it's dead.
So dies the legacy of Alan Bloody Quartermain.
God, how do you remember his name?
I was a huge fan of the graphic novel. If we're being 100% honest, the graphic novel was so much better than. To explain, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen had a lot of Masonic undertones, and I grew up. My grandfather was a 33rd degree Mason. He was also part of the Shrine. He was also a Shriner. And anything that I can watch or read that has to do with Masonic history or has any type of Masonic imagery in it, I'm all for. And there was all kinds of Masonic imagery in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
I thought being a Shriner just meant you wore a tiny little fez and drove around in a mini car.
No, that's
and ran the circus.
That is not entirely true, but partially true. Only about 33.33% true. So let's just leave it at that.
Okay. Did Captain Nemo really worship the Hindu god of death?
Yes, he did.
Why?
I don't know. I don't ask these questions. I just read the graphic novels, man.
All right. Fair enough.
I just like the pictures.
And there's our reading comprehension, folks.
Fine, hooked on phonics and all the rest of that.
The words of John Reed. Hooked on phonics, working for me. Sorry. Oh, so yes, Sean Connery, a man who will not soon be forgotten, a man who within 30 minutes of his passing was already creating controversy on Twitter.
Well, he was a problematic man from a different time, and
that's the one.
You know, he kind of thought it was okay to just beat women.
Yeah,
when they needed to shut up, and hey, he's an old man from a different time.
Go check out that the video that's on YouTube of him on, was it the Ellen Show or
Barbara
something?
Walters.
Barbara Walters, yeah.
Barbara Walters. Yeah, where Sean Connery is talking about when it is and could be acceptable to strike a woman for whatever reason. It's kind of appalling and cringeworthy, but it's still pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
The movie that I was trying to remember, Sean Connery he did voiceover work as well, and he played the dragon in Dragonheart.
Yes, he did.
Anybody saw that movie in 1996?
Movie was amazing. I don't care what anybody says, that movie was amazing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit, he was also in Time Bandits. If anybody likes Terry Gilliam films. Did not remember. Gotta watch that again. Holy shit. That's probably one that only I have seen in this room.
Yeah, the only other one on the IMDb list that I glanced at briefly was First Night.
All I'm gonna say is if you look at the stream right now, he was in a movie in 1974 called Zardoz, and
I remember Zardoz.
Good lord, man.
The red bikini. Yeah, Zardoz is a 1970s dystopian sci-fi movie.
Yep.
Where, spoilers, the whole Zardoz is actually from a book that just had the title worn off. The original title was Wizard of Oz. And the title just wore off the book. And so this crazy person found it and said, oh, this book is called Zardoz. And he read it, and the whole thing was just about this guy behind a curtain controlling this giant empire. And that's what this dystopian was, or this dystopian society was.
Oh, God.
Yeah. That was a fucking bizarre movie.
Well, I mean, just looking at I can't look at this picture any longer.
What's wrong with it? Is it all the hair around the red bikini?
Yeah, it's the hair around the red bikini where it looks like he's trying to smuggle a squirrel onto a beach.
Dude was packing. I have no idea what movie that's from.
The last picture there, The Name of the Rose. It was a medieval mystery thriller.
As a very young Sean Connery, holy shite.
Oh wait, you must be talking about this one. Yeah, Darby O'Gill and the Little People.
Okay, yeah, that one. I know The Name of the Rose because it had a very young, awkward Christian Slater in it.
Yeah, this was Darby O'Gill and the Little People from 1959. A delightful Irish folk tale.
Go back to Name of the Rose, because somebody else who is in that of note these days, Ron Perlman.
You mean Hellboy was in this movie?
Hellboy was indeed in that movie. He played a really bizarre, sort of hunchback-esque character who was helping out this poor girl who was also kind of a witch. And the witch seduced and... I don't know if she raped Christian Slater, but he's a monk and he really didn't want to have sex with her, and she did it anyway.
So what you're saying is Ron Perlman has been typecast since 1986. He was a monster who helped a witch.
Oh yeah, and don't forget when he was the Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh my god, I completely forgot about that.
Such a handsome man. But no, I mean, yeah, he's played his fair share of monsters and all the rest of that, and Hellboy and the rest. But let's not forget Alien Resurrection, where he plays just a good old-fashioned mercenary scumbag.
I love that movie. So many people really hate everything past the set. Like the fandom of the Aliens franchise is really divided on a lot of things. Some of them kind of hate. Some of them love the first and the third exclusively. There are a lot of people who only like the first and the second. It's really a divided fan base. I am kind of one of the odd ones where I like all four of them.
Joss Whedon, who wrote the fourth one, hates it.
I mean, he's entitled to that opinion.
But he's wrong.
I'm a huge fan of that movie.
Well, what happened... All right, in all fairness, what happened with Alien 4 is that Joss Whedon did do the screenplay for it, and he was on board to... I don't know if he was the director or he's just going to co-produce or whatever, but the network got a hold of it and started making rewrites about midway through the movie, and Joss started fighting them, being like, no, if you do that, this isn't going to make sense, and all the rest of that. And so that's why the story structure kind of falls apart about halfway to three-quarters through, and then it just goes off the rail bananas. And that's why
the story structure fall apart. Where's there a story?
Fair enough. That's what happened with that. Yeah, no, it's a bonkers movie compared to the other Aliens movie. It's one that was like, it was really different for the Alien franchise.
It's great. It's like half an hour of premise. Here's this group of random people. Why are they here? Don't really know. But okay.
Who knows? They're delivering bodies because the government's doing alien experiments. That's why they're there, I guess.
So they establish this premise. They explain why Ripley, Sigourney Weaver, is there. And then all hell proceeds to break loose for 2 hours or so. Hour and a half or so. I don't know. There's some super amazing cheesy moments. There's some super just legitimately good sci-fi moments. There's like it's got everything you could want. I mean, it's not a masterpiece of cinema, but is it a fun, entertaining space aliens sci-fi kind of movie? Fuck yeah. And Sigourney Weaver's a badass.
I wish the Rasta guy hadn't died.
He was fun, but
he was a good character. And the French cripple.
Dude, the cripple riding on Hellboy's back was like the best part.
Didn't Ron Perlman also play Reinhard in Blade 2?
No, Blade 3? No, it was Blade 2. You're right. It's Blade 2.
Yeah, because Ryan Reynolds was Blade 3.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about that.
It's the
movie.
movie.
Last year, Ron Perlman's actually been doing a lot of work. He's the official voiceover guy for the UFC.
Yep, that's right. We were watching that, and I picked up on that.
And
also recently with the Halo games coming out and being remastered, we Omega and I picked up that Ron Perlman does some voiceover work there as one of the admirals.
Ron Perlman is he's an American treasure. Don't care what anybody says.
He is. And Sean Connery is a Scottish treasure.
It's true. It's true.
Was Sean Connery an American citizen?
I don't know.
I think Sean Connery was a world treasure.
He really was. Problematic, but a world treasure.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap up our Sean Connery memoriam segment.
Yeah, I can talk about movies all night.
Stay tuned for the Chonkwij movie podcast coming soon.
Yeah,
Could be. Could be
a thing.
Let's talk some cool news about Blizzard. We've got a couple stories here, stuff that they are getting into right now. Zero, why don't you tell us about Blizzard Gear Fest?
So, I actually haven't really been keeping up with Gear Fest until today, because one of the guys that I work with actually brought it up to me and was like, have you seen some of the stuff that they've got? And I started looking through. I am really interested in some of these Funkos, this Illidan Funko that they've put out. I'm of course a collector, if nothing else, and they announced this week, or what was it, late last week, I think it was Friday, they announced that Shadowlands is being released on the 23rd of this month, which is amazing because I've got a 4-day weekend that the following weekends, because that's Thanksgiving week. So I'll have all weekend to play. But ahead of this, they said, we're going to release a whole bunch of products, 50 in total. Everything from they've got a 2020 exclusive Gear Fest Mercy Funko, Diva Collections, Illidan's, of course the standard Murloc that they do with every new release. They release a different Murloc. Damn fucking Murlocs! I hate those things.
Don't worry, I do too.
that was the sound is the bane of your existence when you're an Alliance player in, what is it, Elwyn Forest?
Yep.
Right still when you start,
still might have nightmares.
The only thing you hear as you're running through water is and you're dead and you die, and that proceeds to happen for at least 7, 8, maybe 10 levels. So, but they've also released several pin sets, which is something that Blizzard has really gotten into after seeing, other franchises have success with it. They've started releasing their own pin sets, and they're on Series 7 for some of their pins, and Series 4 for the badges that they are releasing. The Illidan Funko is actually one that I may try to pick up, and the Sylvanas Funko, and that's just because for all of the evil that woman does, she is still one of the better characters in the game. They are also releasing if you see on the screen now, the villain, the big bad for the upcoming Diablo 4. I believe is it Lilith? Is her name? I believe. But they're releasing a statue of her that is just gorgeous.
I'm gonna be the asshole of the group and say that I'm done with Funko.
Yeah, I mean, considering when I go to Target and I see some Funkos for $9.99, and then I see one that's like from an off TV show that I've never heard of, going for $14.99, it's like, can you just make these things standard across all the price standard across all of them. I know a buddy of mine, guy that I've been friends with for a while. He was the best man at my wedding. For a long time, would find out where they were releasing certain pops at, and he would go there to see if they had the chase, the limited edition, or the secret one that they had for certain releases, and he would go and buy all of them and then resell them.
What an amazing way to make money off something that's basically worthless. For anyone that doesn't know, a Funko is it's a bobblehead, but the head doesn't move, right?
Correct. Yep, essentially.
Pretty much what it is. So it's not even, it's a head.
Yeah.
It's a giant, a stylized collector's item that some people just love.
Ooh, I like that tankard. Very nice tankard.
See, the tankard is practical. You can drink out of that. I support that.
I bet if you look somewhere not to be used for drinking beverages or human consumption.
Yeah, right.
Contains lead.
Made in China.
I had a different idea of what you meant by human consumption there for a moment.
Oh my.
Where are you gonna fit a... Well, okay, alright, fair enough.
Oh, but...
Masami, you keep your soup recipes to yourself.
Oh, but...
So that's Gearfest? They also had... Okay, they got pins. What's the... Are these physical pins? And are the ones that are $120 actually made of platinum?
I wish. They only show one in this series of pictures, which is the Shadowlands limited edition pin. And I'm trying to figure out what's so special about this to make it limited edition. But hey, you know,
are pins still a thing? Do people get really excited about having a pin that we're physically talking about a pin, something that you put on your shirt and wear around?
Yes, absolutely, yes, sir.
And people are like, "That's a thing."
Collectors love them, man.
Plus, the kids will put them on their backpacks.
Yeah.
Where are the stamps? Where are the limited edition Blizzard WoW stamps for my philately enthusiasts?
What about the patches? We need specialty patches as well. Need to iron those.
So more things about. Oh yeah, iron them. That's how people do it because they got wax on the back now. That's cheap. That shit falls off after you wash it.
Need to iron this onto my denim jacket.
You're supposed to iron it and then sew around the edge, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to do it. People are just lazy. That's how I did it in college when I had that shirt with all the patches on it.
It would also help if they knew how to sew anymore, or if anyone taught sewing.
I know how to sew. My mommy taught me.
So here's a
Moving
new release. A new release. Actually, the Thrall statue also looks really nice. I'm impressed with how the art design has gone with that particular character. From his Warcraft 3 days, where he was just a block figure, to what they've made him look like now. He looks pseudo-majestic.
Yeah, I mean, the Warcraft movie came out, and they spent a year doing the CGI details on that character, and now you have a real model to do. That's a pretty nice looking action figure, actually, or statue, whatever.
Yeah.
I expect. Let's see, if it was DE selling that and it was a Warframe, that would be $150. What are they selling it for?
Does not say. Oh, good lord, $599.
All right, DE wins on this one.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm impressed.
While there's a limited edition grayscale edition. Apparently,
so you can
that's
paint
a thing.
It yourself.
Yeah, so you can apparently paint it yourself for $749. So it's more expensive.
Wait, what?
Yeah, $749.99 for the gray limited edition gray.
Hopefully it comes pre-primed. Otherwise, that's a real even more real crack of shit.
If it's like $150 more, or $250, whatever more, then that means that they don't want you to paint it. They want it to be an ugly gray statue that remains in the box because it's so expensive and limited edition. That's kind of ridiculous.
Do they even show the grayscale? No, they don't. It's just
all of this is ridiculous. But
I wouldn't pay $599 when I can go on Wish and get a knockoff statue that kind of looks like the character for $12.
Someone's going to buy this. They're going to do one of those detailed laser scans of it. They're going to 3D print them out and start selling them on Etsy for $50.
Yeah, that's true. But so
Blizzard and merch. Blizzard going hard on the merch. I don't think I've ever seen them do a merch push this aggressive before.
It's because it's probably because the director of Warcraft went into the Activision office right before the release of Shadowlands in October, laid his dick on the table and said, "We're pushing it out, and you can't say anything about it." So he had to make up for that money somehow. He had to attempt to keep his job somehow, and this is, I'm guessing, how they're doing it.
Shameless merchandising.
Yeah, not only that, but they've caught the ire of a lot of the community by releasing a purchased in-game transmog. You get a free, ugly-ass looking transmog for being a 6-month subscriber. And it's just, oh god, it's so bad. It is so terrible looking.
No. So yeah, anyway, that's the gear that Blizzard is putting out in celebration of this grand WoW thing that Zero knows more about than anyone.
Yeah. Well, and on top of that, in more Blizzard news, it actually looks like they're going to be doing BlizzCon online this year, or BlizzConline, as they're dubbing it, and it will be free to everybody. So the February online show will be free to watch and engage in. So, by the way, if you have a phone, it will be free.
I don't have a phone.
You don't have a... Fuck, man. Don't you guys have phones?
I had to sell it after I bought all that in-game currency for Diablo Immortal, and yeah, I couldn't pay my bills, so I had to sell my phone.
Wow.
Moving on.
Not fun. All right, it's a joke. Everything's a joke. Yeah, so BlizzardCon Online is going to run February 19th to the 20th next year. And Blizzard is one of many companies that are actually catching up to this whole, basically a reaction to the pandemic. DE had their TennoCon online this year. And it's obviously going to be more difficult if we're still doing this, or if we're still in isolation, or we're still waiting for a COVID vaccine into, Q2 of next year, which is possible. It's going to be more difficult for EA to do their conference. It's going to be more difficult for Sony to do theirs. The whole point is to draw crowds, to have interactive exhibits, and have booths selling merchandise. So Blizzard is the second big name that I have heard going into the online conference arena, as it were, and I guess I'm waiting to see who else is going to follow them and how else they're going to manage to keep things interesting.
I'll tell you, from my time in Destiny, the Bungie Guardian Con has always been online. It's always been online. It's always been free for people to watch online. You could still get tickets and go to the live event in Tampa, but it has always been free online for people to just watch.
Most of BlizzCon has been, not all, but most of BlizzCon has always been free to watch online too, hasn't it?
I believe so. I know that 2 years ago, year or two ago, something like that, they were selling, as it says in the article, they were selling tickets for $40, virtual tickets online for $40, and I believe that was last year.
It was last year. They've done that a bunch in the past, because the virtual tickets are how Leetness and I got a bunch of our in-game glitter in Diablo 3. So I know that they do have exclusive events, but I always thought it was just like five for maybe a total of 10 hours, and then all the rest of BlizzCon, all the other exhibits and conferences were broadcast for free online.
Yeah, according to the article, it said like the opening ceremonies were the free part, and everything else was hidden behind the paid digital access.
It just sucks because we don't get the costume contest this year, so we can't laugh at how bad some of these costumes are. Makes me sad.
Well, maybe they'll do like DE did and have people send in pictures, and you can still have that experience.
Okay, so I have to say, watching them do the homemade costumes the other day on stream, I about pissed myself. People using cardboard and stuff, because that was the whole bit of the entire costume contest, was to do it as cheaply and efficiently as possible, using only things within your home. That was brilliant. Ooh,
all right.
That's a very good question. Nobody actually did that, but the Octavia, the Octavia cosplay, I'm gonna call it, that used actual CDs in the costume, was actually really impressive.
Well, that's all right. Either CDs, you can use CDs for those, or you can use car speakers. I think they're supposed to be speakers in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, CDs would work too, right?
See, I feel like that's cheating. It's supposed to be done with household items. Nobody has CDs anymore.
I've got a bunch of them just lying around here that I thought I was going to use from back in the day when I bought like 100 packs of DVD-Rs, because I'm like, I'm going to put so much stuff on these.
If I looked in the right box, I could absolutely find either a stack of burned or unburned DVD-Rs and CD-Rs. Because
yeah,
who throws shit away?
I have a pack of 100 CD-Rs that I've had since I was 2 years out of high school.
I mean, yeah, you need those because you're going to make mix CDs for you and your friends.
Yeah, I'm going to make a mix CD for my wife.
Oh man, you could even go even further old school and get cassettes and make yourself a mixtape.
It's just a pain in the ass. Nobody has a double
Doubles, yeah.
Play it again. Because you need one deck to play the music, you need the other deck to record it. Wow, yeah.
Or you have to be really talented and be taping it off the radio.
Only real 90s kids are going to know what we're talking about right now. The rest of you have no idea, because you've been brainwashed by the government.
Yay, government! Oh. So, it appears that Overwatch toxicity has seen an incredible decrease thanks to Blizzard's machine learning.
It's okay, Blizzard.
Yes,
computer overlords are making people play nice.
Skynet is here, and I welcome it.
Yeah, they've rolled out this just automatic toxicity. It automatically reviews and addresses reports quicker than people can, and it's shown a huge drop in reoffenders. It's just cleaned things up in general, and they've unrolled it on 3 of their games now.
Overwatch Heroes of the Storm. I know WoW's got it, because I've seen a lot of people who will be talking, and then all of a sudden they just go quiet. It's like, wait a minute, they just disappeared off the face of the planet. No, they didn't. This bot took them out. Sniped them from across the map.
So I think it's funny in this article, we are continuing to improve the speed and accuracy of the system. So the accuracy part is obviously what catches my attention.
Yeah, I'm sure they've had some unhappy people who were doing their thing and got caught on accident because, robots are so smart these days.
Yep. Niggle. Niggle. It's a word. It means annoyance. It's not that.
Oh. Yeah.
Seriously though, Rockstar won't let me sign up with this name. I had to throw a couple H's in this name to get it by they're bots. But yeah, how's everyone feel about computers deciding what is and is not toxic?
Well, I don't like it when humans try to tell me what is and is not toxic. So if if machine is telling me to do it, fuck right off.
And yet, well, I mean, I guess we're taking the report's word for it that toxic language has gone down. Offensive behavior and offensive language have gone down.
Okay, but again, that's 100% subjective. What's toxic and offensive to one person may not be toxic and offensive to another. So
it's true. Yeah, there's room for interpretation in there. But if someone's just, saying, your fucking mother's a cunt or something like that, I mean, it's kind of malicious. You can't really argue that it's not.
I mean, there's one of those situations where if there are community guidelines that state what is appropriate conduct and what is not, and people are violating that, then, and they're programming their AI around those sort of constraints, then, you sign up to use the service and you agree to these terms, and this isn't a street corner where you have free speech. It's a video game. Yep. Don't be a fucking asshole.
Yep.
You are paying for the right to use their servers. They can do with you what they please.
Getting back to the no one owns a video game anymore comment from last week.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Back in my day, games used to be on cartridges.
Used to blow on them to make them work better.
The scary thing about the thought of, owning games and the online services, so many games are becoming so heavily reliant upon online that, you pay the price to buy the game. One day, it's the servers are going to get shut down. I just saw an article today that Shadows of Mordor, all the online services are shutting down in the near future. So people who, paid the $60 for that game, myself included, that game's not going to work anymore. There's but like.
Oh, okay. I was going to say they're not releasing any sort of offline patch or anything like that.
Well, I mean, the game does have like a single player campaign, and I assume that's gonna. I didn't look too deep into it, but just the notion that when you play a game that is heavily reliant upon online servers, eventually that's going to die. What was that game that you and I played for a little while that was free on Steam, Doc? It was Fractured Space or something.
Oh, yeah, the naval battles in space.
Yeah, it's like submarine battles in space. I mean, that was a free-to-play game. You and I played it a little bit for a while. It was fun. It was silly. We didn't take it too seriously. It had a lot of stuff you could spend money on, a ton of microtransactions. And there were a lot of people who dumped a lot of money into that game.
Yeah, for all the different ships you could buy. Yeah.
And then they stopped. Shut it down. And all that money you spent is gone.
In a case like that, I guess the best the community can hope for is that the developer releases some sort of patch which either opens up the possibility of having independent servers or private servers, or, I mean, that's all that you could do with Fractured Space. There's no way you could make that a single player thing unless you had like the ability to launch a LAN party or something, or maybe a local instance that other people could direct connect to. But yeah. There are, as you say, there are examples, and some of them are games that we have played of things that have just sort of stopped, and people can't play them anymore, no matter how much money they put into them.
There's an old term.
Yeah.
Only 90s kids will know what we're talking. Yeah, so LAN parties. That was
we're dating ourselves here.
That was back in the days when Omega and I were playing StarCraft 2, or StarCraft, the original StarCraft, just dicking around with custom maps. Those were all LAN maps.
Yeah, you could land with anybody on campus.
Yep, because we all have the same subdomain.
Talk about another game that's getting shut down. There's no future life support for StarCraft 2. Blizzard just shut that down, or is getting ready to shut that down.
Yeah.
Active development, is stopping.
Yep, the community is a little bit up in arms. One of the well-known casters, Nathanius, he does WCS and a lot of other tournaments. I was watching his stream a week or so ago, and he was kind of going on a rant, as he often does. He seems angry lately. Going on a rant about all the people who are complaining about the fact that Blizzard announced that they announced that they weren't going to continue development on it, and he was basically like, "Suck it up, accept it. If you're gonna cry about it, go away, shut up." And he was just kind of being a dick about the whole thing. But he was saying that the game is going to live on, the community will live on, but the tournaments are obviously going to be getting smaller and smaller, and before you know it, within the next probably 5 years, it'll be down to regional enthusiast tournaments where the prize pools are, down around a couple $1,000 maybe, instead of where they are today and where they were even higher 5 years ago.
Yep.
I was looking real quick to try and figure out if you can play 1v1 on LAN in StarCraft 2. And I'm pretty sure that you can. LAN play is available. But it looks like there are some issues with the game modes that are available for LAN. So theoretically, we could be doing the same thing. Omega and I could be doing the same thing in StarCraft 2 as we did with StarCraft 1. I would imagine that the most ire out of this is coming from people who like just randomly going onto multiplayer and 1v1ing against someone for leaderboard standing. And that obviously will not be a thing anymore. But still, it's a fun game. LAN play will still be available. You can still 1v1 with your buddies, or 2vx cooperative.
Well, I mean, the game, they haven't announced they're shutting down the servers or anything.
No.
So, the game will still exist. It's just not, there aren't going to be any new updates, no new units, no major patches, no major balance shifts. They basically said if there's anything that arises that's game breaking, they'll address it. But short of that, players need to accept that there's nothing new coming down the pipeline.
Which, how old is StarCraft 2? It's over a decade at this point, right?
Yeah, it's been a while. I think it's been out for quite a while now. I want to say like 2008, 2009, somewhere in that range.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Remember all my friends were like super excited about it because it'd been like forever since StarCraft 1, so they were just jazzed about it.
Oh yeah, when was StarCraft 1?
A long ass time ago, I believe. At least in video game terms.
And I was playing that in grade school.
Holy shit. StarCraft was March 31st, 1998.
Good lord.
Brood War came out that same year in December. But yeah, okay, so StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty, the first StarCraft 2 installment was July 27, 2010, so a decade.
I actually replayed the whole StarCraft campaign about a year or so ago when they released the updated graphics pack for, I forget the name of it, but there's a guy who's been making StarCraft animations for a while, and he partnered with them to do a full reskin of the entire game. So I replayed the entirety of StarCraft, both the original and Brood War, looking like an awesome cartoon. It was pretty cool.
I remember you either posted screenshots of that or you streamed some of it.
Yeah. Yep.
It was
I
a good time.
That might be a fun thing to stream again.
If it's at all possible, I would like my faction to look like potatoes. Just all various different types of potatoes.
I mean, I don't know how to do that. If you can figure out how to do that, you're welcome to try.
Or cupcakes.
Oh god.
I want cupcakes with machine guns on them. Cupcakes with flamethrowers.
Oh, it's getting even better.
Yeah, so food centric. All right. So anyway, Blizzard. Lots of great Blizzard news. Whatever. I'm sure they're doing fine. Somebody put Anthem 2 on the list. I'm just gonna skip right over that. And next up would be Joe Biden. Enter the no malarkey zone. Joe Biden has a Fortnite island. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this.
Yeah, it just continues what we were talking about last week. He has his Animal Crossing island. You had AOC doing her Among Us stream. It's just, I gotta say, I enjoy the fact that, however cringy it may be in some ways, or however easy it might be to make fun of it in some ways, he's putting out an effort to connect with younger kids, get people who can't even vote yet, just get them interested and aware and involved, and it's outreach that I think we need, and the Democratic Party has been lacking in that recently. And I also kind of feel like it's impossible to do something like this without it being cringy, but that's kind of the point. It still works even though it's cringy.
And
yep.
As much as I hate to put it like this, the cringier it is, the more attention it's going to get.
Oh, yeah.
And, just look at this photo. This is Dad Bod Thor standing in the middle of an area within this no malarkey zone.
Dad Bod Thor looking pretty good there, actually.
So,
I mean, really, what it is, they're embracing the joke. Like it's self-aware. They're embracing the joke,
right?
And I think that's really the way you have to do it. And I mean, they've got all kinds of things just in there. They've even got events that you're like activities that you can do. You can install eco-friendly AC units and solar panels. You can go hoverboarding through a river collecting trash.
Salt panels.
Salt panels are always great. There's a mini game that lets you install universal broadband internet around the town.
Wouldn't it be great if that was a real thing? Holy shit.
One thing that's really cool, this island was designed by a team of... These guys have a business where they are Fortnite creative mode artists, and they collaborate with companies to do commercial events and collaborations in Fortnite as a platform. This is kind of tangential, but there was the Fortnite concert. Fortnite's done all sorts of interactive events beyond just the game itself. And it's kind of crazy how the game, as much as we may have disdain for some of the game and the community and whatnot, it's crazy to see a game being used as a platform independent of the gameplay itself.
I mean, yeah, fuck however I feel about this game. I would just love to be able to... That's like a dream job for me, being able to do level creation for events inside whatever. Fortnite in this case, fine, whatever. Yeah. I mean, it looks really pretty. I mean, I'll say that. And yeah, there's some cringe to it, but, it's better than going out there and trying to intimidate people not to vote.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and
it's a great sign that he was able to just attract the staff to put it together, because I doubt that he had any real input behind it except maybe overarching, but just the fact that staffers with that kind of talent are interested in being staffers on a presidential campaign is great to see.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in a COVID world, we're having to find different ways to get out there. It used to be door to door. It used to be that campaign folks in each city could go door to door and knock on your door. Hey, this is why my candidate's the best. This is why you should vote for them. You can't do that now. You can't. It's not socially acceptable for either side. And the fact that one side has adapted so well to doing this shows that they're willing to evolve. And
well, they're trying to go where the people are.
Correct.
Which is incredibly smart, as opposed to having super spreader events.
Yeah,
Yeah.
kinda. Well, the other thing is, all right. I was going to ask how many people playing what percentage of people playing Fortnite do you think are old enough to vote? But it doesn't really matter because everyone's going to see this. Parents are going to see this.
Well, yeah, a lot of these kids have parents. A lot of parents of our generation play games with their kids.
Sorry, the statement. A lot of these kids have parents.
Oh God.
Oh, sorry. I know what you mean. Oh man. So yeah, good on the creative development team that came up with this map, because they put a lot of detail into it. Just looking at the screenshots and going around. Oh well. So yeah, that's that. Anybody have anything else?
I got nothing. Go vote. Tomorrow's the day. Go vote.
Tomorrow is the day, yeah, or today if you're listening to this on the podcast day that it came out November 3rd.
Yes. Make sure your voice is heard no matter what side you are on. There's no sides. It's only your side.
Go vote.
Go vote.
Voting is important. Civic obligation, all the rest of that.
If you don't vote, you can't say a damn thing.
If you're not a United States citizen, tomorrow isn't your election day. Call someone in the United States and make sure that they voted. Just randomly call someone. Just the country code is 1, and then just pick 10 numbers and ask if they voted.
Well, you might get Canada too. Just beware.
No, their country code is 01, isn't it, or 10 something? All right,
it's 01.
Whatever. Yeah, there you go. Stupid Canadians. So
it's like they're just north of us or something.
They are like the old neighbors above an awesome party, okay?
You ever think that from Canada's perspective, we are their Mexico?
That's a very valid point.
They actually were able to shut their borders down.
Yeah, they don't want us. They're like, no, America, you can't come see us. But speaking of getting off, there's an article here about NVIDIA's rumored RTX 360. So NVIDIA has a new line of graphics cards coming out, and I've been following this a little bit. And the RTX 30 series, they're supposed to be releasing the 3060, the 3060 Ti, the 3070, the 3080, and the 3080 Ti, I believe. There might be a Super in there somewhere as well. NVIDIA has already released the 3070, I believe. Oh, no, wait. Yes, the RTX 3070 and the RTX 3080 have already been released, but the 3060 and the 3060 Ti version have been pushed back, and they have been pushed back. This is the second time now. And I guess, according to Tech Radar and whatever PC article is pulled up, there may be a legitimate reason behind this. Not actually legitimate, just a sensible reason. They're pushing them back so that they can compete with AMD's cards that are going to be coming out next week, or 2 weeks from now?
2 weeks.
2 weeks from now. So NVIDIA is trying to get a competitive edge, which I don't see how that's possible, because AMD's cards are going to be cheaper, and as far as I know, the benchmarks look like AMD is kicking NVIDIA's ass.
Well, but that's what they're saying the move is for, because the original release date for the NVIDIA cards was the day before the AMD cards. So now they're moving it 2 weeks later, and the thought is that they're doing this so that they'll know the prices of AMD's cards so they can undercut them. So by waiting to release theirs second, they can make a splash by undercutting the new line that AMD is now trying to ship out.
Or at least having a release sale or something.
So yeah, that's the thinking there. That's the supposed advantage that they could get is being able to react to AMD's price and letting AMD, set the price to beat.
I don't know. I'm personally more interested in the benchmarks, how the 3060 Ti will perform versus the new AMD cards. That's just me. Zero, you didn't decide to upgrade your hardware, did you?
I did not. I am going with y'all's recommendation and leaving it alone.
Yeah, you got a pretty slamming PC. I'm looking to upgrade my graphics card, but I'm probably not going to go with a 3060. I don't need to pay $1,500 or $2,000 for a card.
1,500 Daru?
Yeah, right?
Good lord.
I don't even have a 4K monitor, so...
So, fun...
I don't even have a 4K TV. Much less a 4K monitor. I don't know what the fuck, y'all.
Dude, I don't even have a TV.
Wow.
Okay, I have those. Those I have. Not that we have cable, but we plug computers into them, and occasionally it's hilarious.
I'm actually looking to replace our TV in the living room with a smart TV. But I'm trying to decide on which one, because as much as I love using the Roku streaming sticks, they are hell to update, because it doesn't tell you that it needs to update. It just stops working. Like, everything stops working. It shuts off the internet to it, the whole 9 yards. And it's like, hey, search for updates. Hey, there's an update. Update it and everything starts working again. Why couldn't you just say you needed an update instead of turning all of the shit off?
You know,
I'm happy with my Chrome sticks.
Hi-oh. So actually, I'm going to take it back and eat shit a little bit. There's an NVIDIA card, NVIDIA manufactured RTX 3080, a 10 gigabyte GDDR6X PCI card. You can get these for $700, which is fairly competitive. It's not going to be it's cheaper than the 2080 Ti's. Might be cheaper than the 2070s too. But yeah, that's not a terrible price for a graphics card. It's still, $700 is $700 though. That's a lot. But not as ridiculous as I assumed that it was. So there's the correction. Or you can just get a Titan RTX with 24 gigs onboard memory. Those only cost $2,500.
Definitely need that for playing Minecraft.
Definitely need this for Warframe.
I don't know, we figured out a way to make Warframe chug pretty hard.
Yep.
Doc and I were running relic missions just to get a stockpile of Lith relics for Nezha. And we were doing Hepit in the Void. And we both made maximum speed Titanias with all of the sprint speed mods and the sprint speed aura and coaction drift to boost the auras. We both had all of that. What was our best time? 40 seconds?
40 seconds flat.
We weren't able to crack sub 40, but we were able to get a 40-second capture mission, and we ran probably 30 missions in less than half an hour, just getting just trying to get our hands on Nezha relics.
Good God.
Yeah, I posed the question: do you think Infested Speed would work on Titania? And Omega went to the wiki and discovered that all sprint mods work on Titania's Razor Wing. So when you're in pixie form and you're flying around and you don't have to worry about parkouring, you just sort of hold shift and point. Yeah, you can go really fucking fast.
Well, it started with me doing a speed volt build and him in Titania. Yep. And when I would hit my gotta go fast button, he would go so fast, like Doc wouldn't hit shift to dash. He would just go normal speed, because going full speed with the volt boost was completely uncontrollable.
Yep. And Omega, and midway through, Omega brought up it's no longer a game about going from strictly a game about going from point A to point B. It's about memory recall on all these tile sets. We're essentially trying to identify what tile we're on, and identify which door on that tile is the exit to the next room as fast as humanly possible.
It's actually pretty crazy because it really makes you notice how the procedural generation works.
Yeah.
Because as you're flying through, like Doug's saying, we were talking about it, it's like it's just snapshot, pure gut instinct decision making. You have a half a second to recognize the tile, look for the green dot or yellow dot, follow it to the next exit. It is insane when you really get. And we did it like 30 times, so by the end of it, we were really getting smooth. But
I kept on smacking into trees.
Yeah, getting stuck in trees was the thing. But you said what? It made your FPS chug down to 15. You said?
So the way we do this is when you spawn into the void, it does this bright light thing where you're still technically in control of your character. You can activate your skills. So as soon as we saw the bright light, we'd hit 4 and we would start moving. That really made the game upset, especially when we were off the tile before the tile was done loading in. And yeah, my FPS it tanked a couple times. After we got into like the second or third room, it shot right back up to 60. But yeah, the game got really unhappy with me a few times.
I mean, enemies were spawning behind us. We were moving so fast.
Wow. I wonder what that'll be like after the Great Ensmallening Part 2.
Well, honestly, we're wondering if like there was some red flags or something that shot up on some anti-cheat software. Like these two guys just have been averaging a relic a minute for the last half an hour. Something's got to be fishy here. And then, somebody looked at it and was like, oh, double titania. Okay.
A couple times. A couple times, in a capture mission, every once in a while, it can just randomly turn into an exterminate mission. So those were the missions that took us like a minute and 10 seconds, and that's like unacceptable.
A minute 20,
so
minute
slow.
30. God, that felt so bad. We're trying to push below 40 seconds, and then we got to kill 50 guys, and then we average like 2 kills a second and get the fuck out of there.
Yeah, because her little guns in Razor Wing are awesome.
Yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, the little razor flies. Those help. But yeah, that's the more examples of how we like to not play games the way they're meant to be played.
Break the shit out of it.
It's kind of shocking how fast. But yeah, now I guess that is the next step, Doc. We do need to put infested speed on her and see what that does.
Jesus Christ. I was almost at the point where sprinting in Razor Wing was too fast, and I had to like stop and get my bearing once or twice, just stop for a split second. So yeah, I can only imagine just getting more speed on there. I don't think I'd be able to control it.
I kind of want to take that out on the plains of Eidolon.
Yeah, I bet we could get from one end to the other of that real quick.
Like, it'd be fun to race Arcwing versus Super Speed Titania.
Yeah, all right. Super Speed Titanium might win.
It'll be close. I think what it's going to come down to is the jump distance. If Titania's dash distance is super small out on the plains, like
compared to Arcwing, yes, it is.
Mission,
it is. Yeah, it's relative to her size.
Now, if we just do raw, flat out speed, just push forward, hold shift, I think Titania's going to win.
Oh man!
All right. Once we wrap up this podcast, we're going to have to go test this out.
Yep. Well, all right. Yes. So that's all that.
Anything else on the topic list? Oh yeah, we got
CD Projekt Red.
CD Projekt Red updates. Yeah, so they've announced. We talked about it a little bit last week. They announced another delay. They pushed the game back. Still coming in time for the Christmas season. But in an interview, a nice quote that came out of this: "We'd rather be slightly ashamed right now in front of you than be ashamed in front of the players once the game releases." So they're taking their licks for another delay. They are just putting it on quality. And a lot of people are saying, well, didn't you guys say the game went gold? Didn't you say like it's ready for pressing, ready to go? And he was basically like, yeah, but this game's going to have a day one patch, and we want more time to perfect that. And it might not seem like 3 weeks can make a whole lot of difference, but I promise you it will. So.
Oh yeah, that's a ton of man hours.
Yeah.
Especially if they're still doing Saturdays.
Mm-hmm. So, I will always, I don't understand why people get so up in arms about delays like this shit. Like,
you're a CD Projekt Red apologist.
The game, but I'm about this for any game. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. I don't get it. Like, the game's going to come out. It's hopefully going to be better for the delays. If not, then it was a doomed project to begin with, and it doesn't fucking matter. So, if the game ends up delayed and shitty, it would have been shitty either way. And if it ends up delayed and good, well, they'd be fucking happy that they waited and made it good.
I mean, the game, I hope the players are ultimately going to say, yeah, it was worth the wait. I'm really hoping that's the way that it turns out. But the other article that's on here is the CD Projekt Red stocks falling 25% in 2 months, just over Cyberpunk 2077's uncertainty.
Yep.
And that, I hate to see that shit, because like they're in danger of doing exactly what EA and Bethesda and it's the other one, Ubisoft does, which is kowtowing to shareholders.
I mean, well, that's exactly what they're not doing.
Right. They're holding out, and I think they're a better company for it. But I don't like to see stocks dropping. There's no fucking reason for that.
Well, because most of your shareholders don't understand that waiting will probably result in higher returns. It's just not going to happen right now. Yeah,
this is not the. I hate to relate it to a completely different industry, because I know there are some differences here, but I see it as basically the same thing as when good science fiction started coming on TV. There's there's no action, there's no there's no big action explosion scenes, there's no sex and violence or all the rest of that. It's just intelligent story writing, and networks were like, what the fuck? But the point is, the sci-fi writers were like, our audience, even if you don't think they are, our audience is intelligent. They will recognize quality. This will be a good thing. And lo and behold, they were right.
I mean, yep. It's
dead silence.
Well, no, I mean, and it's one of those things.
You're not wrong.
I mean, no, you're not. You're absolutely not wrong. And I am interested from this standpoint. I can't say anything about this because I am wholly behind Blizzard delaying Shadowlands for the month that they delayed it. And it's because there were systems in their game that were busted. And they needed to be fixed. It needed polish. There were things that the community said, hey, this needs to be fixed before you release this. And Blizzard listened. For the first time in probably 10 to 12 years, Blizzard actually listened. Because they don't want to have happen what has happened time and time again since the end of Wrath of the Lich King, which they have seen steady decline in their player base since Wrath of the Lich King. The fact that Blizzard saw a bump in their subscriber base when they delayed Shadowlands is a good sign for them. Now, if the game comes out on November the 23rd and it sucks, then we'll be having a different discussion. But it's one of those things that, yes, okay, delay it all you want. I would rather have a good game at some point than to have a shit game that has to be updated 17 times before its first 6 months. And so, I sell fake Uggs. Togue in the chat just said that he believes Blizzard's been listening, but so much has to get approved by Activision before anything goes through, which is true to a point. Activision is more interested in microtransactions of what they can sell within the game itself. How can we supplement the game income? How can we supplement the subscriptions every single month? And that's where Activision is. Blizzard actually wants to listen to people, and I think that's why you've seen a lot of the older designers and game devs and things like that have left Blizzard and gone and started their own companies. I mean, two of their leads, I think it was Chris Metzen, just started his own tabletop gaming company.
Oh, Chris.
And it's, they're leaving because they want to listen to the people, but the big wigs at Blizzard and Activision only care about what the shareholders think. And they got away from that.
It's the life cycle of a company.
Yeah.
It got too big. It got bought up, and I think way back when Activision purchased Blizzard, we all knew that this is what was going to happen one day. And that's just how it goes. It's unfortunate, but it was expected. Shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone.
Not really.
I mean, and it's I was away from Warcraft. I left at the end or toward the middle of Mist of Pandaria. I got away from it. And recently, within the last 6 months, got back into it. Needed something else to play. Was getting out of console gaming and came back to PC. And a few people have gotten me into Warframe. Not going to mention any names, but the three of them are here.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Right. But it's one of those things that I've enjoyed my time back, even though Battle for Azeroth, I came in at the tail end of it, and it's busted. I mean, it is busted. Like, it has gone a full 3 rounds in the cage with Brock Lesnar busted. And they are trying to rebound from that because of how bad Battle for Azeroth was. The bar is set really low, so they don't have to do a whole lot to make this thing better than BFA. But they do have to get over that bar, and if they don't get over that bar, they're going to lose a ton of subscribers that have just come back.
I was just remembering the glory that was Chris Metzen.
Hey, he was one hell of a director, man.
He was one hell of an artist.
Yeah.
He started off in Blizzard. He did some absolutely fantastic concept art for Warcraft and for Diablo. And then he bumped up to writing. That was a huge mistake. And then, he went to directing, and he got some shit done, for sure. I just always remember the characters that he wrote, the stories that he wrote, were always, like, flat out predictable. Nobody remembers the launch of Diablo 3 now, but when you're going through that campaign and you get to the beginning of Act 2, it's like, Belial is hidden somewhere in my kingdom. Please help me find it. It's like, you're Belial. Everyone knows you're Belial.
It's just predictable.
You're the Lord of Lies, and you're terrible at lying.
I mean, it's kind of on the nose. I think that might have been the point.
Oh, boy. So, yeah. I agree with everything Zero said.
Thanks for that. Appreciate it.
What were we talking about? We were talking about CD Projekt Red, though, right? Yeah. Whatever.
To circle back. Well, I mean, to circle back to that, it's one of those things. I support any company that's willing to take the time to polish a game. Period.
Right.
Yeah. And they took a hit on their market share, but they lost about nearly $3 billion in market cap.
Jesus fuck, really?
Yeah. Which is quite a bit. That was, as I said, about 25% of their entire market cap. But I think that's their way of saying, like, listen, we might take a hit right now, but we know that we will end up better off down the line if we do this the right way. And, some investors might be scared, and the uncertainty for certain types of investors who like to bet on the sure thing, they might want to get out, but they're comfortable with the decision. And like we've all kind of agreed here, I think good on them for making the decision to put out the best product. And, even if it does mean it has to be a little bit later.
I was going to ask, just sort of tangentially, CD Projekt or Cyberpunk 2077 has been getting a lot of attention, at least, in our circle, because we're paying attention to it and we're kind of enthused about it coming out. Do you think that does the room here, do you think the hype train on this could be dangerous? Do you think that people's expectations of the games or the game that is going to come out could be too high? Or do you think when it comes out, people will be expecting too much and the hype train will sort of damage this as it has other games in the past? Or do you think it's just going to be, the game is what it is and people are going to appreciate it and play it no matter what?
I think it could go one of two ways. It's either going to be like, people are going to be like either super hyped because it's been delayed for so long and they're expecting so much, or because it's been delayed, people are going to be super chill and not expecting a whole lot because clearly, they've had to cut stuff, so they're kind of, their expectations are going to be a little bit lower. So we'll just kind of have to see how, where the majority of the camp is.
Well, keep in mind here, like, this is Cyberpunk 2077. This is a game that was teased 2 years ago. You're breathtaking. We all remember this. Like, it was...
You're breathtaking.
This game has been hyped to such an extent, it has turned into CD Projekt Red's magnum opus. Like, this is... And this is how they've built it up. This is the hype that they've generated. This is going to be a next generation game. Not even necessarily in mechanics, but in the art form. They are billing this as their magnum opus, and that's, you have to imagine they're going to take it fucking seriously and do everything they can to make it as perfect as possible. And the hype is unreal. And I do think there is going to be a segment of the population who is going to be disappointed just because they've built up an impossible to fulfill expectation. And it's completely unfair for fans to do that, but that's what fans do. It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
But I have no doubt that the critical scores are going to be pretty good.
Oh yeah.
On a more positive, no, I'm looking forward to the game, and I've ridden hype trains before, and I'm just not interested in that anymore. So I'm probably going to appreciate it no matter what comes out of it, because it's obvious that they put some thought and care into it. As a positive comparison, I'll say, this is a completely different example than other hype trains that I've ridden in the past. We were going to talk about Anthem earlier in here. That was a hype train that lasted for a year, and the game came out, and it was lackluster. So the difference between that one and this one is that EA was less interested in pushing the quality and the amount of content in Anthem than CD Projekt Red has given every indication that they're pushing. So I see it as a positive, and I'll probably like it no matter what, because I have no reason at this point to suspect I wouldn't.
Well, and it's like you said, Anthem had a huge hype train. I know the guys I was working with at the time were all about it. And in fact, one of the guys even was like, okay, you know what? Here, I'm going to go to GameStop right now. I'm going to pre-order your copy and put it in your name. And I want you to play with us on the night that it releases. I played that game and finished the entire campaign in less than 3 hours.
Cool.
The campaign itself was painfully easy, and the free roam or multiplayer aspect of the game was god awful. It had no end game at all. And they are just now getting around to adding that type of end game. And it's too late. It's too late. I don't think they're going to be able to get back the hype that they had initially built for this game, and it looked amazing. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it did. It looked amazing when they first announced it, but as it was, the game was awful when it came out. I mean, god awful when it came out. It was short, no end game, and there was no structure. None.
Compare that to everything that we've seen so far with Cyberpunk 2077, which, I mean, the world looks enormous. We've seen a huge list of features. A couple of those features got cut. There's no more wall running. Fine. Just the amount of stuff that they've released, they've been very open about it, and I think that's in their favor in this case.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
So just to kind of lighten things up a little bit, I was scrolling through a couple of ads or a couple of articles, and of course we all know I'm a WWE fan. I actually got to watch SmackDown live this past Friday. I got to be part of the Thunderdome experience that they have, where I got to watch.
Was there somebody there who said, "Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch"?
No, Dane Cook was not there saying "Welcome to Thunderdome, bitch." Name that movie.
Waiting.
Oh, great movie, love it. But Braun Strowman posted a picture on Saturday of himself dressed up as Kratos, and it is equally hilarious, cringy, and terrifying at the same time.
That's actually not too awful.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the man is just, he is from, and this is going to be funny, I believe he is from Apex, North Carolina, which is about 3.5 hours from where I live. And he's a good old Southern boy, and he is just huge. Huge. He is
huge.
He's huge. He's huge with a capital Y.
Well, compared to those train tracks, I believe it.
Yeah, he was a power lifter before he joined the WWE, and he was brought in as the strong, silent enforcer for a faction that was around about 3 years ago, and he's become a very
so he started
point.
off as like a white Mark Henry.
Essentially, yes. And I mean, even Mark Henry has said in interviews that he and Braun Strowman were in the gym going pound for pound with each other when it came to lifting. And we all know that Mark Henry is the world's strongest man. The man has won competitions. So, but I just thought this was neat, because it's gaming related, but it also plays into the love of wrestling that I have, being a former professional wrestler myself.
That's a damn fucking good costume that he pulled off. He is the perfect specimen for it.
Now he just needs a smaller accomplice so he can just go, boy.
Did you guys see when the voice actors for Kratos and his son were doing the video game awards?
Oh yeah, Christopher Judge is a fucking character. I'm a Stargate fan, so I actually know that name.
So it was pretty funny because the kid was trying to open the envelope and he just looked down at him and gave him the boy.
Yep.
So
boy.
I have seen that clip. That clip is priceless.
Has anyone else seen the clip of Christopher Judge reading all the Kratos puns at, I think it was Comic-Con or Dragon Con?
God, no.
It's great.
Oh.
I don't trust stairs. There is something up with them.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's
it's just
terrible.
That.
That's
Painful.
terrible. I give you a 9 out of 10 for delivery.
Christopher, it's impossible to do that Christopher Judge voice. I too am a Stargate SG-1 fan, so I know Christopher Judge. He's just the greatest thing about that man. We're gonna bring all of this back to acting and actors and all the rest of this, like we started off. Great thing about that man is that in Stargate he played such a fucking straight character. Teal'c
Oh my
was
God.
so straight and just very direct. Christopher Judge in real life is nothing like that. He is a giant giggle box.
I know. When I see the off-screen stuff, I'm like, this is just night and day.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great. He's also he's the voice of Kratos in the new one. I'm sure that he's been in other stuff as well. I just don't know.
I was just thrilled to see him getting something reasonably mainline.
Right.
Well,
Omega and I want to go race Titanius.
we are about
that about does it for the Church of Chonkwij podcast for today.
I'd say so. Just a programming reminder: Thursday nights, Thirsty Thursdays with all your favorites here. Don't forget, again, huge reminder: tomorrow or today, depending on when you're listening to this, is Election Day. Please let your voice be heard and go vote.
Go vote.
Go vote.
Vote.
All right, everybody, have a good night. Say good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Penis.